month of Adar Rishon, we know the Shinichnas Adar Marbim V'Simcha. And as we had said already a few times before, we are coming out of the 2 months of winter, Teves Ushvat, which are very harsh months, because they are months of din, of harshness in the judgment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And on the opposite, Adar, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, those 4 months we are coming into now, and now we have got 5 because of Adar Sheni, are 5 months of Chesed and Rachamim, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in those 4 months, reveals himself with pity and goodness and love to the world. So it's an occasion, we have to grasp it, and that's the way how we can be marbe b'simcha, by thinking about all the chesed and all the pity HaKadosh Baruch Hu has showered upon us. So tonight we are going to about the subject which we already spoke before, I think, the subject of Habitachon, of trust in Hashem, because it is impossible to be marbe b'simcha, to multiply joy without it. It's very easy to say marbe b'simcha, multiply joy. How? Marbe b'simcha. Shenichnas Adar marbe b'simcha. How do you do it? It's not a button you press like on a radio or like on a washing machine. It works on its own. How do you multiply joy? How do you do that? One should know that really joy is inside us. We have got a reservoir, a big reservoir of joy, which is inside our heart. And it is limitless. The only thing where you can't tap it, it's because there are layers and layers on top of it. Exactly the same as a reservoir of petrol. We know there are in the world still many places which are full of petrol. And now they are searching to see where can we drill in order to get at it. And once they drill, then the petrol just throws up in the air with a tremendous force. The petrol was always there. It was waiting for us, but we had to find it. We had to drill all the rocks through in order to get at it. But it's the same thing also about us. There is a pasuk in Mishle which says, Mayim amukim eitzor belev ish. Deep waters are in the heart of man, and there lies his advice, his eitzor, his solution of his problems. There, deep in his heart, there lies deep waters of chokhmah, of knowledge. Ve'ish tevunos, and the clever man, Yidleno. He is the one who is able to schlep from it, to take it out, to drill. What are those layers of rock which are stopping us from getting at it? Those are the worries we have. We are full of worries. Everybody has got worries. Let us face it. It's not a shame. It's normal. Everybody has got worries. One has to know it. Once those worries will go away, in a way to eliminate those worries, then we will feel a tremendous joy. That is the layers of rock. We have to drill through them. We have to eliminate those layers of rock. If we come to Menuchas HaNefesh, if we have got a way how to be calm from all our worries, to realize there's nothing to worry. It's a stupid thing. You're worrying for nothing. If you realize that, then you've got a tremendous joy. And the more you realize that, the more you have more joy. As I think I quoted it not long ago, the example of a shikar. Since Purim, we know that's a mitzvah to become shikar. So it's a good moshel, it's a good example. A shikar who drinks wine, you cannot recognize that person. Before he drank, he was all sad, all worried. He had many problems. After he drank, he sings, he dances. You ask him, what about your problems? He says, I don't care anymore. Why don't you care? I'm happy now. I don't care about my worries. What happened? What is the strength of the wine to make this person forget all his worries? The answer is, wine is a drug. There's alcohol in it. If he drinks grape juice, that won't help him. Just wine. Because there is alcohol. Alcohol. And what does the alcohol do? Alcohol is a drug. It paralyzes the intelligence of the man, the reflection, the thought. It doesn't paralyze it completely. It just makes it a bit weaker. It doesn't think as hard as before. And that is enough. Just to attenuate, just to make it weaker. That thought makes a man so joyful, a shikar. If you want to understand the joy of a shikar, that's it. Because he has drunk a bit of alcohol, so he doesn't think as much as before. His thought is a bit vague, a bit attenuated. And Shlomo HaMelech said in a pasuk, Yoisif in Koheles, Yoisif das, Yoisif machoif. The more you think and the more you have knowledge, the more you suffer. Because the suffering of a person lies in his knowledge, in his thought. So if we find, and there is a way, because the Torah is compared to wine, we know that. You don't have to drink wine in order to forget your tzores. Just look in the Torah, and the Torah will give you the wine, which, as the Navi says, Ushtu biyayin mosachti, drink the wine I gave to you. I pour it in your cup. Wine, strong wine, beautiful wine, the wine of the Torah. Drink it, and you'll see how it will bring you joy. You'll see how all your worries will go away. Let us see in this week's parsha a wonderful Rashi about the Eved Ivri, about the Hebrew slave. You know, a Hebrew slave who was sold as a slave. After 6 years, he goes out free. And if he says, I don't want to go out free, I want to stay with my master, then the Beis Din had to make a hole in his ear, in his right ear. Why? So Rashi quotes Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Omar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, Oizen Zois, Sheshomo al Har Sinai, Lo Tignoiv. Why was he sold this Hebrew slave? Because he went and stole money. And then he didn't have money to pay back what he stole. So the Beis Din sold him as a slave in order to pay the gneve, the theft. So, Oizen Zois, Sheshomo al Har Sinai, this ear that heard on the Har Sinai, Lo Signoiv, Ve'olach ve'gonav terotza. And he went and stole money. Terotza. It should be pierced. That is in the case when the Hebrew slave was sold by the Beis Din, by the court. Now, there is another case of the Eved Ivri, of a Hebrew slave. V'im moicher atzmoi. There is another case when he sells himself voluntarily because he had nothing to eat. He was a poor man, He had no roof on his head, no bread, no money, and no one wanted to help him out. So he didn't find any other solution than to sell himself as a slave to a Yiddish man, a Hebrew slave. So if that is the case, why do we pierce his ear? If he sold himself, that ear that heard on Har Sinai, Kili b'nei Yisrael, Avodim, the b'nei Yisrael, the children of Israel, are my slaves, says the Rebbeinu Shalom. And he went and he acquired a master for himself, Terotza. That ear should be pierced. You hear that? That poor man, he had nothing to eat. What did he do wrong? He sold himself. He didn't go and steal money like the first one. But he sold himself as a slave. So what could he do? He said, no, you heard on the mountain of Sinai, you are my slave. Why do you go and sell yourself as slave for another person? I am your master. Why do you go and get another master besides me? You should stay my master. What does that mean? What does that mean? But he had nothing to eat. Why didn't you give him to eat then? You didn't give him to eat. So he went and sold himself as a slave. So what do you want now from that poor man? You shouldn't go and get another master because you are his master. If you were his master, so why didn't you give him to eat? The master has to give to eat. Yes, quite right. When he went and sold himself as a slave in the beginning, we have no time against him. We don't pierce his ear straight away because we know his situation. It was too hard for him to stay without food. But after 6 years, he already settled down. Now you go out free. And you know, when a Hebrew slave goes out free, his master had to give him a ha'anoker, that is, a sum of money, a good lump sum of money, in order to help him out in his new life. Now he's coming out of his slavery, and he'll have to start afresh, a new life. He'll have to buy a house, he'll have to open a shop, he'll have to do some kind of business. So the master, that's an halacha, that when a Jewish slave goes out free after 6 years of work, the order, the master has to give him a ha'anoker, a lump sum of money, quite important sum of money. But he says, that slave who sold himself because of his poverty, he says, no, I don't want to go out. I want to stay with my master. He was a kind master, he was good to me, I want to stay with him. Then we pierce his ear. Because now you've got no answer now. Continue. Come on. Habitachon. Trust in Hashem. You've got some money. You ate well for 6 years. And you also got some money from your when you sold yourself as a slave. Don't forget also, you also got a lump of money when you sold yourself as a slave. It's very expensive to buy a slave. So you've got some money which you've kept from before. You've got now money which he is giving you. Why are you so afraid to throw yourself? Undertake something, some kind of activity. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you. No, he doesn't want. He doesn't want to take any risk. He just wants to stay with his master. Then we pierce his ear. What? You are the slave of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have to start becoming again the slave of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Get out from here. Be independent. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you. He will be your master. It's not because once you are not successful, you have to give up hope for all your life and stay a slave. Those 6 years we have no time against you. You sold yourself because you were in a situation that was above your koiches, above your capacity. You couldn't deal with it. Okay. We don't pierce your ear for the first 6 years. But now, if you don't take the chance, then we pierce your ear. Because you have no bitachon. That ear that heard on the mountain of Sinai, Kili b'nei Yisrael avodim, avodai heim. You are my slaves. Why do you want to go and get yourself another master? I am your master. I'll help you. Why didn't you help me before? They got cash. Before I have not time on you before. Before it wasn't my plans that you should be a slave. So I put you in a situation where you had to sell yourself as a slave. And I have no time against you. I don't piss you here. But now, if you don't want to get out, I'm telling you to get out. If you don't want to get out, you have no bitachon. Now you see, when we speak to people about bitachon, say, why don't you have bitachon? When some people come to me with a problem, and I tell them, bitachon. So they say, bitachon, I'm not up to that madrege to have bitachon. Bitachon is for the gdolim, it's for the tzaddikim, for the great men. Ich halt nicht dabei, as you say in Yiddish. I'm not up to it. Bitachon. How many times I heard people like that? When you speak to them about bitachon, they say, ich halt nicht dabei. They think bitachon is something which is for some kinds of people an elite amongst the Jewish people. For the Yechidis Gula, for them there is the notion of bitachon. But to a Poshet Yid like me, you're talking about bitachon. A Poshet Yid can't learn the parnose by working. What do you speak to me about bitachon? Here we find from this Rashi, it's a mistake. Every Poshet Yid, because he's a Poshet Yid, that person, he sold himself a slave because he had nothing to eat. We come to him with a taina. Go ahead and have bitachon. Get out of your slavery. Have bitachon. If you don't, we piss you here. What? Ich hab nicht dabei, bitachon. Das ist doch kein Madrege. No, we piss you here. We piss you here. And everyone, no one can say, no, I'm out. It's not for me. Everyone who says, I don't have bitachon, I cannot throw myself in life, I'm too afraid. What will happen? In a new place, no job. I have to undertake a new job. I never did it before. What will be? No, you shouldn't ask questions like that. I am your master. You are my servant. I'll take care of you. Have we heard about someone who works for a king who has worries about parnose? A servant of a king? He eats from the king's table. Melech Malchi Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you have the servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how is that you worry about what you are going to eat? If you are the servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you are worried, that means you don't believe you are the servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't believe really that you are the Eved Hashem. So here we are touching a very important point that the Chovos HaLevavos says right in the beginning of his chapter on trust, on bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, why did I put the subject of bitachon straight after the subject of avodas Elokim, the service of Hashem, and straight after that I put the chapter of trust in Hashem? Why? Because the most important thing to serve Hashem for a servant of Hashem is trust in Hashem. Why? Because a servant has to trust in his master. If he doesn't trust in his master, that means that's not his master. He doesn't believe that's his master. If he believes that's his master, then he has to trust in his master. If he believes on someone else, if he trusts in someone else, he's the servant of that someone else. If he trusts his boss is giving him to eat. His boss has to help him out because he's got problems. So he goes to his boss and he says, I know you're generous and you have pity, you're Baal Chesed. Please, give me more money for my salary. And he trusts in his boss. Doesn't mean he doesn't have to ask for a rise, but he trusts in his boss. And the pasuk says, Al tiftechu bin divin, do not trust even the Nedivim. Nedivim means not only the reiche people. Nedivim means generous people. What the Torah calls generous. Really generous. And the Torah says, Al tiftachu b'nedivim, v'vein adam she'en lo tshua. Ashrei shekel Yaakov be'ezroi. Happy is the man whose help comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you see, although he goes to his boss and he says, I don't know what to do. I've got too much chayvus, please help me out. Give me a rise or lend me money. He shouldn't trust in his boss. The bitachon should be toward Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, help me. I'm going to ask my boss for a rise. Help me that he should want to give it to me. That is the right way to do. But then, if the boss refuses, don't come out with a grudge against him. If you come out with a grudge against him, he says, oh, this boss, he takes everything for himself. He's not generous. He doesn't want to give me a small rise. And you keep an akpoder and you've got a grudge against him, then it shows that all the bitachon you had was not for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know why? Because if really you trusted Hashem and not the boss, so who is the boss? The boss is only like a shliach. Is like a postman. You have got a grudge against the postman because the postman didn't bring you the check today. Exactly the same thing. If you believe, if you really trust Hashem, so why do you have a grudge against people? You have a grudge. It shows that really you trust in those people. You think those people can help you, and they can't. That's the point. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to have a rise, then nothing will help. It's no use to have a grudge. If you want to have a grudge, have it against Hashem. Not against and against Hashem you can't have a grudge. Because if He doesn't want to give it to you, He loves you better than everybody else in the world. The same as a child can't have a grudge against his parents. If a child wants a packet of sweet, he wants to eat it in one go, and the mother says, no, it will spoil your teeth. The child shouldn't have a grudge against his mother. If he does that, he is lacking in understanding. And so we should behave, us. We should know there is nothing to worry whatsoever. What is there to worry about? As the Prophet ﷺ quotes in another page, says, one chassid, one very religious man, met another one very religious man. And he said to him, why are you so worried? If your worry is on Torah because you're not doing the Torah as you should, so I bless you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should make you more worried. Why? Because if that is the worry, and you still didn't do tshuva, that means that you don't worry enough about it. So, I give you a bracha, worry a bit more, and then if the tshuva, you won't be worried anymore. And if your worry is on geld, on money, and most of the time our worries, that is on money. It's not on because we are not doing tshuva, unhappily. Most of the time, our worry is because of money. Kesef min olam. Where will we get the money? Where will we get the money to pay this bill? Where will we get the money to pay the chayvus? Where will we get the money to do this and to do that? Especially, that is big money. That to make chassid the kinder is big money. Where will you get the money? Kesef min olam. Where will you get the money? Money is no problem. Money no problem. What do you mean no problem? Money no problem because HaKadosh Baruch Hu has got all the money of the world. Liya kesef v'liyazor. No, Mashiach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says all the money belongs to me. Look, when I hear that a military plane crashed during exercise, and never, let's say the pilot could jump out, ejected. There was no loss of human life. And they say, you know how much it cost one plane like that? I don't remember the amount. 100 million pounds or something like that. 1 second, 100 million pounds went in smoke. No loss of human life. But 100 million pounds in 1 second. And when I read that, I say, why didn't you give me the 100 million pounds? Instead of... Here is an example. Rabbeinu Shalom says, I am the master of the money. I want that country to lose 100 million pounds in 1 second. They will lose it. And I want them to earn 100 million pounds. I'll make them find some gas in the North Sea. But he distributes wealth. He takes it from one place, he gives it to another place. Liya kesef liya zor. And he's got no problem of money for him. Unlimited resources. It's not like a government who cannot print more notes than what it can. Otherwise it will have no value. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has got all the money. Liya kesef liya zor. No problem. No money problem. Yeah, okay, no money problem. But where is it, the money then? Why didn't he give me some of this? That's a good question. But he does give you. He does give you money. Only you think it's not enough. You worry. The money he gives me is not enough. Who tells you it's not enough? Baruch Hashem, up to now, you've got a roof on your head, you eat 3 meals a day, you even overeat sometimes. So what you worry? You worry about tomorrow, about a week, maybe I will lack sometimes some money. Chazal tell us, the one who has got for the day, and he worries about tomorrow, he is lacking in faith. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you life every day. Why won't he give you to eat? He'll give you to eat. We say in the Birkas HaMazon, Hazones ha'olam kulo betuvo bechen bechesed u'rachamim, Hazones ha'koil, poisei yachas yodecho. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens wide his hand. One should realize, really, he has got millions of pounds. I should realize I've got millions of pounds. Where? In heaven. When will I get them? When you need it, you'll get it. Like a child who has got an inheritance from his parents. And we know that if he gets access to his money, he'll just waste it. Throw it for stupidities. It will liquidate the wealth of his fathers. So the people who are in charge of the money, they block it in the bank until he grows up and he's got enough knowledge to know what to do with the money. Well, we should realize HaKadosh Baruch Hu behaves with us exactly the same way. He has got plenty of money for us. Millions and millions of pounds, if we need it. I doubt it when people want to become millionaires, but really they don't need millions. All right, never mind. If you do need millions, you'll get it. But he won't give it to you unless you need it. Why? Because if he gives it to you before, it will disturb you in your service of Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what you're going to do. Now listen, if I would become a millionaire tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you think next week I'll be here to give a shiur? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, what you need is not to be a millionaire. What you need is not to be a millionaire. It's exactly what Rabbeinu Yehusha tells us always the story of a child who went to his father and he said, Daddy, please, give me a piece of rope. And his father has got plenty of big rolls of ropes. He says, what for? He says, I want to hang myself. So his father says, what? You chutzpah? You ask me a piece of rope to hang yourself? I'll teach you what. Takes him on his lap and gives him a good spanking. So then the child cries. Well, never existed such a story. Never mind. So he goes out to his friends and he says, you know, my father is such a mingy, such cruel with me. I asked him for a piece of rope, a small piece of rope, 3 feet, 6 feet of rope. And he's so mingy with me, he didn't even want to give it to him. He has got big rolls of ropes, big rolls of ropes. Why didn't you want to give it to me? So his friend said, Take, you're right. Your father is as good as stupid as him. If they would be a bit more clever, they would ask him and tell us the whole story. What did you want to do with the rope? It's the same thing he says. We accuse HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not generous with us. He has got so much money. Why is he so mingy with us? Mamish, drop to drop. With drop to drop. Every week, so much. Not a penny more. Why is he so mingy with us? The answer is, if he would be a millionaire, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu would give him the rope he's asking, he would hang himself. He would stop learning Torah. What would he do if he became a millionaire? He would travel around the world. Like all the new rich people. What are you going to do with your money now? First of all, I'm going to stop, take some rest. Take some vacation at the sun. I need it. Now suddenly he needs it. Because now he has got the money, so he needs it. And then he's going to travel around the world. That's what he's going to do. He won't be in the kollel anymore. He won't give shiurim anymore. What does he need it for? It's a rope. So he's asking for a rope. He's asking for a rope to hang himself. And then he accuses HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You are cruel with me. You are mingy. Why don't you give me money? That's what we learn here. That's what we learn from the Torah. If you want to be an Eved Hashem, who will tell me that you are an Eved Hashem? How much bitachon you have? We all believe we are Avdei Hashem. We keep Shabbos, we eat kosher, kashrus, we do mitzvahs, we go to shul, we daven. We are busy in avodas Hashem. Why do we do it? Because we are serving God. So what are we? We are the avodim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, isn't it? So why do you worry? I'm serving Hashem. Why do you worry? He's our master. En kadonenu, en kadonenu, en kemalkeinu, en kemoshienu, as we say in the tefillah after the Musaf. En kadonenu, no one is like our master. En kemalkeinu, and no one is like our king. En kemoshienu, and no one is like our savior. Why do we worry then? The answer is, unhappily we are not aware of it. Our mitzvahs have become by habit. We do them by habit. We get up in the morning, we make mitzvahs yadoyim, and we daven, we make our moitzi, we daven, we learn, we do all kinds of mitzvahs, but we lose out of focus. We are not aware that what we are being busy into the whole day has got a great value. What is that value? That value is avodas Hashem. We are serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every time we make a brocha on the fruit, we should realize, I'm doing avodas Hashem. I'm a servant of Hashem. I keep His mitzvahs. And if I keep His mitzvahs, I am being a servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if I am a servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then I should, He's my master. If He's my master, He's my Moshiach. He's the one who feeds me. This being aware makes the whole difference. Be aware. Because if he's not aware of it, it's very dangerous. Because the Prophet goes on and says, and if he doesn't trust in Hashem, probably, surely, he trusts in someone else. And if he trusts in someone else, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take away his protection and leave him into the hands of that person in whom he trusts. It's very dangerous. If someone goes in the street and he's not afraid, says, I know karate. I've learned judo. Karate. I'm not afraid. So he goes in the street and swings himself. Let anyone attack me. I can defend myself. Very dangerous. Why is it very dangerous? Because he puts his trust in himself. I can defend myself. And the Pasuk says, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't guard the town, then all the guardians of the town, they will guard it for nothing. Nothing will help. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't guard you, what will it help that you know karate? What will it help you if HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't guard you? Nothing will help you. And if you trust yourself, I'm intelligent, or I know how to get out of this situation or that situation, or I am strong, or I am rich, I have no worries till the end of my days because I'm very rich. So you trust your money you have in the bank. It's very dangerous. Why? Because if someone trusts something else besides HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Chovos HaLevavos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away his protection from him. He says, okay, you trust your strength, you trust your intelligence, you trust your money, here you go. Please, get on with it. I get away from the picture. What happens, Chas v'Shalom? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets away from the picture, is finished with the person, it's very dangerous not to trust Hashem, just to trust other things than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why the Navi says, Oh, HaGever, cursed is the person, Asher Yiftach Bodom, who has trust in a person, on a human being. So you see, from this passage of the Eved Ivri, that's what we can learn. Oizen shishomo al har Sinai, ki li bnei Yisrael avodim, ve'olach ve'kono odin la'atzmoi terotza. That anybody, it's not like people think Bitachon is for Musernikes, people who learn Musa, from the Vardikers, people who learn Musa, people who are Hasidim. Musa is for every Yid, every simple Yid, every simple Jew. We can come to him with a taina, with a tviyah, with a question. Why don't you have Bitachon b'Hashem? If you do not, then we pierce your ear. And that is not to put in earrings. We pierce your ear to show that one hole was not enough. You didn't listen properly. You don't listen properly. So we make him another hole. Maybe with a second hole that will shake him up a bit. Maybe with a shame. We go in the street and we would say, look, he's a Eved Nirtzah. He didn't want to go out of his master because he has no Bitachon b'Hashem. And verkehrt, the one who's got Bitachon b'Hashem, Baruch HaGever, blessed is the man, Asher Yiftach b'Hashem, who has Bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There is no situation where Bitachon cannot help. Chazal tell us, Bitachon is in every situation, even the most extreme, even those which seem to be hopeless, totally hopeless. And we think, how will it come? What? For example, Chas v'Shalom, when the doctors give up and say, we can't help you anymore. So what can we do? Hopeless. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he can cure. For example, that situation. One should not give up. Any situation. Whatever problem. Although you think, well, in such a situation, I don't see how I can get out of it. I don't know. There is no help. Nowhere to turn to. No one to speak to. I am all alone. Who can help me? No one wants to hear me. There is someone who is ready to hear you. 24 hours and 24 hours. Not the Samaritans. Or not the helpline. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he is ready every second to listen to you. And he's not busy like sometimes you want to phone to a big veer. He's not here, he's not in town. Or an answering machine answers for you. Or a doctor sometimes, he's playing golf. You want a doctor, he's not here, he's not in town, he's somewhere else. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always ready, at your disposal. He's here every second of the day. You just ask, please. HaKadosh says, I'm ready when you ask. When you turn to me, Penu Elai, turn to me, we say in the Slichas of Hoshana Rabbah, turn to me, v'yivoshu, and be saved. Just turn to me. If we really turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sincerely, with all our heart, then you will be saved. One has to realize that. I remember in my life, there were a few times that I really turned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, very, very few times, because usually it doesn't happen that way. But those few times, I realized straight away that the Yeshua came on the spot. The Yeshua, that means the salvation, what I needed, came right on the spot. Mamash, straight. As soon as I was making my prayer in my heart, Bonish Loilom, please help me. I didn't finish. Please help me. That already There was someone who came to me and said, yes, here I am. What? So we should know that. There is no difference. We shouldn't think, now the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has forsaken us, is far away, the Shekhinah has gone back to heaven. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all that is because we forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I didn't forget you, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You are forgetting me. If you remember me, I'll remember you. He's not far away. He's just here. But he's far away from our mind. We are always busy about thinking, that person will help me. That person can help me. And we forget that there is one who can help us. Only one. Hashem Echad. U'Shmo Echad. He can help us. That is the real. If we are aware of that, we realize it, and we apply it, and we do it, then we are sure to be successful. That's the way I think. That's the lesson of Megillas Esther of Purim. It's not the time now to speak about it. We have plenty of time to speak about it. Now we have got a month and a half to speak about Megillas Esther and Be'ezras Hashem. Another time we'll speak more in detail about how the lesson of Megillas Esther of Purim is tackled. That is the lesson. How, when Klal Yisrael, when a Yid turns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu sincerely, with all his heart, then he gets a nace, he gets a miracle, like the miracle of Purim. Okay.